Welcome everyone. We are located in Leontievsky Lane. Next to me is the Karatayeva Morozov mansion.
The plot on which the estate is located, since the beginning of the 18th century, belonged to the General-in-Chief Mikhail Ivanovich Leontiev, married to the niece of Alexander Menshikov, the closest associate of Peter the Great. The lane is named after him. After the fire of 1812, the wooden building burned down. The territory was divided into two parts and sold. One of the plots was acquired by the landowner Karatayeva, for whom an eclectic mansion was built according to the project of Alexander Kaminsky. At the end of the 19th century, Ivan Morozov acquires the mansion, who marries the ballerina of the Bolshoi Imperial Theatre Varvara Voronova. A young, but already famous architect Fyodor Shechtel was invited to update the interiors for a new family life. And later, architect Adolf Eriksson worked on the interiors of the mansion. After the revolution of the 18th year, the German embassy was located in the mansion, and during the Great Patriotic War there was a Sof information bureau that transmitted meetings from the front with the voice of the great Levitan. After the war, the embassy of the GDR moved in here. In the early 80s, the Cuban embassy occupied the mansion for a short time.
The house was created for celebrations, holidays. His decor, he talks about it. On the facade we see smiling masks, mascarons, cartouches. They are all quite pompous, festive. The interiors that we see now, the main staircase that leads to the second floor to the first construction period, to the work of Alexander Kaminsky, they differ in their size. The ceiling height in many ceremonial halls is more than 5 meters. Morozov additionally orders another architect, Adolf Eriksson, to complete an additional 2-story volume, which houses the children's rooms. They order the alteration of the house to Kaminsky's student Fyodor Shechtel. He is redesigning the main state halls. There are different stylistic, very fashionable rooms at that time. These are both classical, Rococo and Gothic, that is, such romantic rooms. Restoration has not been carried out here for more than 130 years, but at the same time researchers have always noted the high preservation of both the facades and the interior. In the 14th year, restoration began. The area of the building is very large, more than 3,000 square meters. It was possible to recreate, restore, strengthen all decorative elements. As we now see this house as it was in the days of the Morozovs. We are in the hall of the first floor, and the architecture of which rather belongs to the work of Kaminsky, apparently, has been preserved, because such an eclectic approach to ceilings. Here we find the kilometer monogram, which we could not decipher. What does it mean by and large? Why the letter Karotiv, Morozov? But presumably, during the restoration, the original color scheme of the interiors was revealed. The gilding elements of individual parts of the cabin were restored with natural stone, ceramic tiles, and consciously the color scheme of the fireplace. This hall, the main find during the restoration, because when we entered here, everything was covered with plywood boards and the ceiling was like a migrant. Behind this ceiling, some relief was suddenly discovered. And when the whole paneling was embroidered, there turned out to be such a wonderful, rich in relief, in decoration hall, which clearly belongs to the work of Shechtel, since there are some decorative techniques that only Shechtel would have decided on with his past arrangement of scenery, the theater of scenery design. Since the damask on the walls, tapestries. This is an ordinary burlap, on which the pattern is stuffed and slightly gilded. When opening, the plaster relief of the ceiling was restored here, the lining of the bottom of the walls with oak panels was restored. The relief of the ceiling was painted with Alfray painting under oak. It was restored in the form in which it was, and we got the original interior of the Schechtel, previously hidden from view. We found the same monogram on the fireplace as in the next room of the MK. It has been restored. The entire top is a fireplace with a rich decor, also alfresco wood painting, as well as the ceiling. Pay attention to the unique doors of this mansion. Carolean birch with a row of handles. We entered the Greek hall. When we arrived only in the center, and with a comb, a gilded frieze opened. The ceiling has become richer. The walls of this hall were painted over. Upon opening, artificial marble appeared on the walls, which was restored. We are mainly in the hall of the second floor. The hall belongs to creativity, most likely the Schefters, since we have similar techniques. These are the double columns with elongated capitals found on Spiridonovka 17. The artificial brab on the columns has been restored. We see heads on the ceiling with 11 beams. These are techniques that are found in Schechtal in his other works. And the hall has very high-quality interior architectures. We see a marble fireplace with lions. Restored marble cabin, cherubic grille inside. The floors in this hall are consciously patterned. We are in the Cancer Hall. Terriers belong to the work of Schechtel. Elegant pattern of floors. This is the only hall in which the original floors have been preserved and restored. The marble fireplace with ceramics inside has been restored. Attention is drawn to the rich pattern of inlaid doors. These are also valuable breeds of the door panels themselves. This is a pair. During the restoration of the central ceiling, a painting painted over for the sake of was revealed. The main advantage here is the restoration of this ceiling. This is the recreation of the ceiling with floral compositions. Throughout the mansion there are rich ceilings, and this, in fact, is a distinctive feature. Here in the entrance hall we see a lot of cartouches, in which it was possible to restore the painting on canvas, pasted into cartouches, floral arrangements, Boucher paintings. One of them has been preserved, the second one has been recreated by analogy. Everything we see in this mansion is the fruit of the work of many years of architects, restorers, researchers, restorers, the producers of the works themselves, restorers in painting. In the 2019 year, the main directorate was awarded the Moscow Restoration Prize for the organization of work. Thank you all for your attention and see you soon.